Watching Minions and Monsters was definitely one of the best things I did this year. And you probably feel the same way. But did you manage to catch all the hidden secrets in this movie that makes us laugh from beginning to end? For example, in the scene where James finds out what the Oscar is, when his director tells him about it, we can see that he imagines himself winning a statuette right next to his two best Minion friends. And the interesting part is that if you pause the scene right when James's name is announced, you'll notice that next to Henry, there is a stylized soda cup from the Minions' very own brand. Right next to James himself, there's one too, next to the popcorn. And on Ed's seat, we have a lollipop, and right next to him, a toy figure of the Minions themselves as well. A lot of people didn't even realize it, but there is a lot of evidence in the animation showing that the monster that was going to be summoned at the end would be that orange blob full of eyes. For example, when the Minions and Goomy arrive at the island and enter the cave, if you look closely, you'll notice that the object used to unfreeze the two monsters on the island had a tiny eye symbol on its base. After that, right in the next shot when they are all leaving the cave, the engraving on the wall shows Goomy next to the two freshly unfrozen monsters and several eyes around them, which already hinted at the appearance of the monstrous orange blob. And later, when James actually thinks he is shooting a movie scene, but in reality Goomy is starting the summoning ritual, we can see that the altar he uses is completely decorated with several eyes once again. Honestly, we didn't see it because we weren't paying attention. But the movie was showing us the whole time, don't you agree? Our list of hidden secrets in Minions and Monsters is just getting started. Get ready, because we are going to blow your mind. As we all know very well, the animators at Illumination love creating scenes with the Minions in the background doing extremely random things, especially when a bunch of them are gathered together. That is exactly what happened the moment Dort and Debbie are sitting on the park bench, peacefully eating ice cream, and several of the Minions are doing the exact same thing. But if you look really closely, you'll notice several bizarre things. For example, we can see one of the Minions using two ice cream cones to pretend he is wearing a bra, while the other Minion looks at him in a funny way. At the same time, we can see another Minion opening his mouth thinking his buddy is going to feed him some ice cream, and he just takes an ice cream cone to his goggles so hard that he ends up falling backward. Furthermore, we could also see two Minions using candy apples to make some sort of toast, as if they were champagne glasses at a fancy gala dinner. Actually, that is a pretty good idea. And we could also see a Minion laying down on another Minion's lap to sleep, which honestly is a pretty weird scene. When the Minions have already become super famous in the movie world, we see James, who is one of the yellow protagonist beings of the third movie, grabbing a puff pad and throwing makeup on an actress's face in a not-so-subtle way, you could say. The funny thing is that it actually looks good. The detail here is that if you look behind the actress, you'll notice there is a black and white picture of that very same actress.
And if we go way back to the beginning of the movie, where we see the tourists walking into the cinema museum, we'll see that in one of the tribute spots, there is an identical picture of that exact same actress, indicating that she really became someone very, very famous. Could James's makeup have been responsible for that? Maybe you noticed this, maybe you didn't. The Bright brothers, owners of the studio where the Minions movies were made, were a bit on the chubby side. But not only that, they are huge fans of their own shapes, which is why they have several statues of themselves scattered all over the place, like the two Greek-style statues of them right behind the desk in their very own office. If you still don't know, it's better if we tell you right now. The Minions movies aren't exactly made just for kids. The proof of this happens in the scene on the first morning the Minions wake up in their new home, an abandoned Italian food factory. And when James says he has an idea for a new movie, if you look in the background, you'll see that the animators let it show that one of the Minions was still sleeping. So far, so good. But the bizarre detail is that he had his back turned and was completely naked. Was that really necessary? Definitely not, but it is really funny.
Before we continue, just a quick heads up. If you also enjoy movies, series, and cartoons, click the subscribe button right now, all right?
Still talking about the Minions' temporary home. Did you notice that the factory's name is Lara Violi, spelled separately? As much as it might seem like a name given in honor of the factory owner, who was probably a woman named Lara and was Italian, the pun is that the name is a reference to ravioli, which is one of the most famous Italian foods. Another detail that you probably missed when you were watching the Minions movie happens in the scene that starts off showing the front of the jazz club. And if you look closely, you'll notice that right in the corner of the scene, a couple in love goes in for a huge kiss. Ah, how great it is to be in love, don't you agree? While James, Henry, and Ed were heading to Monster Island with Gumi, the rest of the Minions finally managed to find a boss to call their own, the space robot Dort. The intergalactic conqueror with financial struggles ends up taking the group of yellow lackeys to his tiny apartment, where he introduces them to the friend he lives with. And we can see that while he is talking about his world domination plan, the Minions are listening closely, but not all of them can actually see him talking. That's because one of the Minions has the two pant legs from the drying rack right over the lenses of his goggles. The funniest part is that one of the Minions next to him notices the situation and starts laughing and pointing at the Minion who isn't seeing a thing. Right after that, our eagle eyes manage to catch another detail that the movie's animators put in, so that Easter egg hunters like us could find it. One of the Minions starts playing with Dort's roommate's socks, and everyone starts laughing. However, if you look in one of the corners of the apartment, there is one of the Minions craning his neck so he can see what's going on. He can't manage to see it, so he looks around suspiciously and gives that awkward smile, just to pretend he got the joke. Who hasn't done that, right? On the other side of the world, James, Henry, and Ed, accompanied by Gumi, cross the ocean to get to Monster Island.
And we noticed a few very interesting details. The first one is that on the way there, apparently they stopped to catch some fish, since they have a basket full of them inside their little boat. More than that, if you look closely at the aerial shot, shortly after they save the baby seal, you'll notice that not only did they catch fish, but they also ate some, since we can see at least 2 fish bones. Now that's what I call liking fresh sushi. After the pseudo-robot Dort gets out of the bathroom, which is definitely something robots don't usually do, he announces that now they are finally going to begin their world domination plan, to the delight of the Minions who celebrate. The detail here is that if you look closely, you'll realize that one of them just straight up throws a bra in the air. But at the end of the day, where did he even get that? In the scene where Dort plants his global domination flag at the children's playground, he ends up doing it right on top of a boy's sandcastle, who then starts hitting the robot with his little shovel. He then decides to kick the boy into space, but is interrupted by Debbie, a woman who is a member of the independent women's movement. And the interesting part is that if you look behind her, you'll notice there is an older lady who is also from the same group that just falls asleep out of nowhere. Seriously, the woman literally managed to take a nap standing up. I laughed so hard when I noticed this hidden detail. In this very same scene, something happens that only someone paying close attention to the main scene will catch. During this whole process of planting the flag, getting hit by the kid, and meeting Debbie, we can see that there is a whole game going on between a boy and a little girl in the background of the playground, where they try, but fail, to make a toy rocket stand upright. When Dort and Debbie go out on a romantic date, obviously the Minions tag along with their master, helping him however they can to try and make a good impression on the girl. And when they are at an Italian restaurant, we can see that the Minions are just eating a mountain of spaghetti. The detail is that at the top of this mountain, 2 Minions accidentally end up recreating that famous spaghetti scene from the Disney classic called Lady and the Tramp, and the 2 of them just end up kissing. Meanwhile, at the bottom, we can see that Minion who accidentally got whacked on the head by Dick, eating spaghetti all by himself. Speaking of the short Minion, in the next scene where the Minions, Dort, and Debbie are looking at the city lights from the top of a small hill, we can see that one of the Minions keeps rubbing his head until he falls asleep. I have to admit, that scene was pretty cute. And if at any point during the movie Minions and Monsters, you were wondering exactly what year all of that was taking place, there is a scene that many didn't pay attention to, but that makes it clear exactly what year all of it happens. When James and Gumi start filming, he cuts the scene and uses a clapperboard where the year 1927 is clearly written, which is the year they are actually in during the movie.
We've reached the end of this video, but if you like having your mind blown, this is the right place. That's why we left 2 really good videos for you to click, watch, and best of all, stay with us.